Hello and welcome to this week's newscast from PEI. I'm Kelvin Ross. This week's headlines: RWE's said to be planning to mothball yet more plants, India unveils an $8 billion grid project, Prysmian signs a $126 million deal to connect a Greek island to the mainland, and Bangladesh approves plans for its most expensive power project to date. German utility RWE is said to be planning to take yet more power plants off the grid as it continues to struggle with the challenge from renewables and sharply reduced electricity prices. This week it was reported that another 1,000 megawatts could be taken offline as German energy prices continue to decline. The move is being put down to continuing overcapacities across Europe and state subsidies for electricity generated through renewable sources. RWE has already mothballed 12,500 megawatts of plant from the beginning of 2013 to the end of last month. In July, RWE boss Matthias Hartung said that every existing unit is being thoroughly scrutinised and added that the company could not continue operating plants that simply were no longer profitable. India is to begin construction on an $8 billion grid stabilization project. Called the Green Energy Corridor, it aims to strengthen transmission infrastructure in 8 states in order to absorb what analysts predict will be more than a 50% rise in renewables coming onto the grid in the next 8 years. This will see an increase from around 32 gigawatts at present to over 72 gigawatts by 2020. The backers of the project include German development bank KfW, which is to lend an initial $334 million with the option to raise that amount to $1 billion. State-owned utility Power Grid Corporation of India has now invited bids for the work, which will begin in the states of Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. Italian cable company Prysmian has won a contract worth around $126 million for an interconnection between the Greek island of Syros and mainland Greece. The deal with Greece's transmission system operator IPTO will see Prysmian design, supply and install a turnkey HVAC system along more than 110 kilometres, 108 kilometres underwater and 2 kilometres on land. Syros is part of the Cyclades Islands, and it's intended that once it is connected to the Greek grid, the other islands of Paros, Mykonos and Tinos will follow. The submarine cables for the link will be made in Prysmian's plant in Naples next year, and installation is expected in 2016. Prysmian has previously carried out submarine interconnection projects between Italy and Greece, Sardinia and mainland Italy, and Spain and Morocco. The group is also a founding member of the industrial partnership Medgrid, which was launched to study the feasibility of an HVDC interconnection project to transmit electricity from solar or wind plants to load centres on either rim of the Mediterranean. The Bangladesh government has approved the construction of a coal plant near the Bay of Bengal in what's said to be the country's most expensive power project to date. The 1,200 megawatt Matabari ultra-supercritical plant will cost around $46 million, which equates to 14% of the country's budget for this financial year. Developed by coal power generation company Bangladesh, it will be the nation's first coal-fired power station. Natural gas makes up the larger share of Bangladesh's energy mix, meeting over 3/4 of the nation's commercial demand. Previous efforts to develop coal power have met with sometimes violent protests by environmentalists. The plant is expected to reach 41.9% efficiency, beating the nation's other thermal plants, none of which have an efficiency of more than 34%. It will be cooled with ocean water, which will also provide steam, which marks yet another first for a Bangladeshi plant. That's all for this week. We'll see you again soon.